Hello friends, before the story begins, please click subscribe first so you can always get new video updates every day. The night in Beijing fell slowly, like black cloth folded over and over atop a city that never truly slept. Building lights glinted off wet streets, while the cold wind carried the scent of earth, rain, and a hint of dust that stung the nose. Amidst the chaos, one name once known across the nation was now only whispered in fear: Yu Menglong, a young actor, singer, model, and director whose career soared as fast as a meteor, before everything stopped with one word: death. But not everyone knew that his last night alive was not just an accident, nor a suicide. There was something far darker shrouding it. Something that even now makes anyone who speaks of it feel as if they are being slowly dragged into the same circle of curse. 3 days before his death, Yu Menglong was seen sitting alone on the balcony of his apartment in Chaoyang district, a cigarette in his left hand burned halfway, while his right hand held a long red string wrapped around his pinky finger. No one knew where the string came from. His assistant once said he never took it off, even when sleeping. He called it a charm given by a senior producer at his agency, someone supposedly highly respected for their connections, yet feared for their ties to strange rituals. He said the string would bind his career's fate to success and fame, but no one expected that the string was not a symbol of good fortune, but a blood pact. In the middle of the night, the apartment's CCTV recorded something strange. Precisely at 2:33 a.m., Yu Menglong's figure was seen walking into his study, then stopping in front of a large mirror. He stared at his reflection for a long time, then spoke as if arguing with someone invisible. No sound was picked up, but his lip movements repeated the same phrase: "I don't want to do this anymore." After that, the room's lights flickered. The mirror cracked slightly on the left side, and the image in the recording blurred. 5 minutes later, when the picture cleared again, Yu Menglong was gone. All that remained was the red string hanging from the edge of the desk, as if someone had pulled him into the mirror. The next morning, his agency announced that Yu Menglong had died in an unexpected incident while filming his new project at the 798 Art Zone, but those at the scene knew no cameras were rolling at the time. They said his body was found in the museum's basement, among unfinished art sculptures. With the red string wrapped around his neck, there were no other wounds, yet his face was pale and blue, his eyes wide open staring blankly upward, an unknown bird feather scattered around him. The news spread quickly, but rumors spread faster. Some said he was a victim of rivalry in the entertainment industry. Others claimed he took his own life due to depression, but the most terrifying rumors came from former agency staff. They whispered that Yu Menglong was a sacrifice, a secret pact between the agency and a certain entity to maintain fame and business survival. Every few years, someone had to be offered, and this time it was Menglong's turn. He supposedly knew a month before the incident. He tried to run, but the red string on his hand never broke. It grew tighter over time, as if something was pulling him back every time he tried to escape. A few days after his death, all of Menglong's social media accounts were deleted, but a short video once circulated on dark forums. It lasted only 27 seconds, showing him sitting in a dark room with a pale face. Behind him, a figure's shadow flashed by quickly. Menglong stared at the camera and whispered, "If I don't come back, don't believe anything they say." After that, the screen flickered, and the video ended with a sound like heavy breathing. To this day, no one knows who filmed it. Some who downloaded the video claimed their laptops broke for no reason. One user even reported a red string appearing wrapped around their wrist while watching it at night. Meanwhile, Menglong's agency tried to suppress all rumors. They held a press conference and called his death an unintentional filming tragedy, but many fans refused to believe it. There was one fan named Li Qian, a 23-year-old girl who had followed Menglong's career since his debut. she began to investigate the strange events behind her idol's death. In her search, she discovered that almost every major artist who had worked with the same agency had experienced death or strange incidents. Some vanished without a trace, some suddenly withdrew from the public eye, and a few were found dead in unexplainable ways. One night, Li Qian went to the 798 art zone where Menglong was found. She snuck in quietly, climbing over the fence, accompanied only by a small flashlight. The air inside was so cold and heavy, as if every breath carried dust and whispers. She walked along dark corridors lined with expressive paintings. One painting made her stop. In the middle of the large canvas was Menglong's face, but his eyes were empty, and red strings were painted around him, spreading across the room like tree roots. Li Qian swallowed hard, trying to take a photo with her phone, but the screen suddenly died. From behind her, she heard a soft dragging sound like string being pulled slowly. She turned quickly, but only saw her own shadow. Yet when she looked back at the painting, Menglong's eyes in the canvas stared directly at her. The gaze was cold, full of warning. Don't just watch. Share your horror experiences in the comments section. Who knows, it might give us all the creeps together. Since that night, Li Qian began to experience strange things. Every time she slept, she dreamed of being on an empty stage. Spotlights turned on one by one, and in the middle stood Menglong with a stiff smile. The red string dangled from his pinky finger, moving on its own as if alive. "They've taken me," he said in the dream, "but they're not satisfied. They need more." Li Qian always woke up gasping for breath, and every time, she found the red string wrapped around her hand even though she was certain she had never owned it. She tried to throw it away, burn it, even cut it, but the string always reappeared the next morning. People began to warn her to stop digging. One former agency staff member even met her in secret and said, "If you keep searching, you'll share the same fate." They're still watching. But Li Qian's curiosity had already turned to obsession. She believed Menglong's spirit was not at peace, and the red string's curse was still active, looking for new victims to uphold the old pact. She wrote down all her findings in a personal blog, including photos of the crime scenes and last messages from some of the missing artists. Strangely, every time she wrote, her pinky finger would ache as if pulled by something invisible. Night after night, the atmosphere around her grew stranger. Footsteps in her apartment hallway appeared every night at a.m. When she opened the door, no one was there, only a red string lying on the floor, as if just cut from something. A soft breathing sound came from the direction of the mirror, and every time she looked at her reflection, the shadow behind her always looked slightly different. Sometimes like Menglong, sometimes like someone else she didn't know, but their eyes were always the same. Empty, demanding, and cold. She began to realize that perhaps she was not the one seeking the truth, but the truth was coming for her. A few weeks later, Li Qian's blog suddenly disappeared. All posts, photos, and notes she had written vanished as if they had never existed. Her neighbors said she had gone out of town but never returned. Only one thing remained in her apartment room: a large mirror with a crack on the left side and a red string hanging from its frame. On the mirror's surface, if looked at from a certain angle, a faint shadow could be seen standing behind it, staring with the empty eyes once known by millions of fans across the world. Since then, the name Yu Menglong has been spoken again, not as a star, but as a cursed legend. People say anyone brave enough to speak of his death, especially uttering the words red string in the middle of the night, will begin to feel something pulling at their pinky finger. At first just an itch, then a feeling of something wrapping around it slowly, growing tighter every time they try to ignore it, and when the string is fully tied, they will begin to see Menglong's shadow in their own mirror, standing still, smiling faintly, and whispering, "Your turn." And that is where this mystery never truly ends. If you're curious about what happens next with Li Qian and the red thread, make sure to subscribe now, like this video, and leave your comments below.